It's my reserve day. Dude, actually, driving over here, one of the things that came up for me is, I grew up in a house, and my mom always had like these religious sayings around, which were great reminders. But one of the ones was like, if you can kneel before God, you can stand before anyone. And that took me back to what we were talking about, your experience out in the wilderness and being like, having Spirit just come down and almost like humble you.
Oh, big smackdown.
Yeah. Dude, so many things. I mean, in the past couple of days, just thinking about it all, like truths you're sharing with me, your experience you're sharing. You've been on this journey for, I think, well over 5 years, and I'm putting the pieces together, man, and like just catching up. But
I noticed
messages you're sharing are definitely being impactful for me and kind of helping take me back home, if you will. So
that's what it's meant for.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you. You were asking about the fire element.
Yeah.
What drew you to that? You said you had an interest in it.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, what I understand is one of the ways that you are communing with the Spirit, or the Great Spirit is communing with you, is through the element of fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Great Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Great Pulse.
Absolutely.
He's rising up to show who's in charge.
No doubt.
God's in charge.
So what, were you like always just, has fire been your element? Were you just drawn to do that? Like, were you led to do that?
Yeah, actually, fire has always been just, campfires.
Yeah.
I definitely love fire. Who doesn't, I guess? But, that's a interesting even question you bring up, because just a relation, I guess, of the fire element and the sun, even. Yeah. But if you go back to ancient times, what did you have to have, really, and what did you love to have? What protected you? What kept you warm? What kept you safe at night? The light, right?
Yep.
The fiery light. Yeah. Anyways, with fires, just, normal kid, normal guy with fires. But I think our last conversation, we were talking about the smoke and blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's the elements. So we discussed the smoke, we'll discuss the fire. I've done water as well.
Like for me, when I'm in nature, and you're exactly right, like, that's the feeling. It's like, who doesn't love a fire? Like, provides light, gives you warmth, illuminates the area that you're in. For me, there's definitely something spiritual about it. Even if it's just like a camping trip, that's not necessarily intended to be. It's just you feel like this communion, that simple element of fire. But
I think
what you shared, you've taken it. It represents a whole new meaning.
Fire's a gift. It's a gift of what we were just saying. But really, when you look at it deeper, I mean, it's God's way of letting you sit with Him, connect with Him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what started happening to me for whatever reason. It was, it started happening. Just started happening, and I recognized it. It was clear as day. How do I say this? This is humility. Is, I guess, the best way to say, because it's weird, I guess. Some of the ways that have been shown to me, and picked up through pictures or videos, anything, they're kind of out of the norm, and so it's at first take, it's kind of like, what the hell, you know what I mean? So for me, that's humility, but there's a reason for that, all of it, and it just takes so much time to explain that. And again, that's kind of why I think we talked about that before. instead of kind of butting myself up a little bit, if I may, on that before too, while we're here, I wasn't trying to say, like, well, for the teaching thing, for example, I am here to teach, obviously, but I'm not the teacher, basically, you know what I mean? I'm the vessel from the only teacher that matters. But, where was I even going? What was I saying?
Yeah, I mean, just, God working kind of through us.
Yeah, he's
through
working
you.
through. What I was saying before, though, I had said something about the darkness coming in and hammering me, all that, which was absolutely true. But I want to button that part up, that I wasn't trying to throw shade on anybody, even though they may deserve it or not. That's really not my intention. My intention was the fact of, right when I was like gaining momentum on what I was being showed and guided to, right, literally at that moment, it happened multiple times. Something dark, basically, would attack.
Yeah.
And just the truth of it, and that's what I meant by that.
Yep.
And again, the teaching, it was misinterpreted, or I just missaid it, I guess, as well.
What you've also shared with me through.
Well, I couldn't teach
Yeah.
until I freaking knew.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to explain stuff to people that I didn't understand fully yet.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that.
Absolutely.
So, anyways.
It's all part of the evolution, the story.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, like one of the things you shared with me, which hit home, was like there are, good and evil spirits, right? And you protect yourself by aligning with the one, the Father,
Yes.
right? And your faith in Him protects you from
Now,
evil coming in.
yes. And I was lucky to be shown those truths.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know. And that's why it's so dangerous if you don't. And so I'll just say it again, with that humility comes stories that are just whacked out, but they're truths. So that's why I don't give a shit anymore what people say, because truth is truth and it needs to be told. And with that point, here's my truth. I don't know if I've told you this story, but it fucking happened. And this is back to your fire element, how it began, because it was all smoke, blah, 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 blah. I was out there one night and it began to rain really bad. So I came in here and I started a fire, charging my phone, whatever. And I had a different table. It was lengthwise up by the fire, closer to the colder out. And all I can tell you, man, is that like I saw these flames. Number one, they turn blue a lot. And there's blue flames, baby, but pay attention. I mean, we'll go over some of the videos that I do and why, but notice the color,
Yep.
And so anyways, this is back towards the end, mid 2021, when I saw those blue flames take really shape and almost slow down in their vibration, their frequency, which is also part of the reason the fire has got such a high frequency, that the spirits and everything are able, angelic beings, to really get into that. It's nuts, but it's cool. But more than that, God, the Father, the Great Spirit, they control it all. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, anyways, I'm seeing these things take form, right? And I'll tell you what I saw. And this was more of a telepathic communication. This was by far the best, the greatest, only time like this. It took me later to realize that I was still telepathic communication with God and the angels and everything, but this was so much different visually. And so, anyways, if I'm, for the audience, looking into the fireplace, right? The three blue flames are basically shoulder to shoulder in the middle, and they're looking to the left. And I'm seeing it clear as day. And behind them, sitting on like a throne, facing them. Nobody's looking at me. All I can tell you is it looked just like Santa Claus, man. That's what I saw. I saw Santa Claus sitting on a throne, right? And what's the guy do, right? That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And then I see the one closest to me. He's got a sword in his hand. And this is just how it went down, dude. It was, whoa, are you, this is Spot. Okay, it was, are you an angel? Yes. No, but no looking at me. You'll understand why that's important in a second. Still everybody looking this way. Are you an angel? Yes. And then I see the sword. Are you a guardian angel? Yes. Are you protecting somebody? Yes. Are you protecting me? Yes. From who? And then that's the moment when they're looking straight, when I say from who, I see them look right, just real quick. And I look forward, and on the outside of the fireplace, basically, you know, but way to describe it,
Yeah.
looking in, there's a werewolf looking dude. Best way for me to tell you, look like a damn werewolf. Oh man.
Wow.
Wolverine movie, hold up, what's his name? Victor.
Okay.
That's what it looked like, it's hilarious. But truthfully, dude, looking like that. There's
Hilarious now, but terrifying, I imagine. But maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, it wasn't terrifying, to be honest with you, because it was too much of a holy shit. Why was I just shown that? Why was I just shown that?
Yeah.
There's a pretty darn good reason. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if they were to show up like that and they're saying, "Hey, boom,"
Yeah.
there's a reason, right? And I knew it, and that's going back to humility, trying to tell that story to somebody.
Yeah.
Shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So clearly, I don't care anymore because the message needs to be told. And look, again, we're not. This isn't preaching. This is just my story that hopefully will reach others. Because I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, and I know that. I've been told that, right? And how deep do you want to go into it? It's not a challenge either, out of love. Like, let's talk, people. Religious people, spiritual people, any people. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you're gonna leave a little different thinking, right?
Yeah.
In a better way. Because in the end, it's all the same. It's the human aspect that's causing conflict and bitterness,
Yeah.
race, just all that bullshit. You know, that's what it is. It's just all man-made bullshit.
Do you
Kind of
think?
like the original Poison.
Yeah, man. And well, I was thinking about that too. It's like, I feel like a lot of what you're doing is reverse of what the path that most people are going, and not what you're doing, but what you are being shown. And I think by saying what you're doing, I mean like what you're willing to see, what your heart has been open to spend time and understanding and question years, right? Because you're identifying with spirit and you know there's so much more.
Yeah. Are we able to, once this
Yeah.
post a picture with it on this topic?
Yeah.
Like, because based on what I just said, you know,
Yeah.
I want to dive into it a little bit with one of the pictures that I showed you today.
Yeah.
The bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can deny the bear.
Yep.
So, you know, I don't want to waste a lot of that's confusing anyways with explaining the fire stuff in depth. But anyways, it was fire communication, pictures, same thing, you know, any animals, especially my totem animals, heavy like bear,
Yep.
the horse, like crazy, and the owls and eagles, which is one and the same, you know, the night eagle, the moon eagle, the owl. But
Did you feel like with the you know the angel guardian angel experience from that, when that happened, did you feel like you were in God's grace? Did you feel like, obviously they said they were protecting you, but like how did that help shape where you went from there? Did it?
no, that's a great question. So really what had happened was, again, when I was still learning and everything. I came across through people, friends of friends, the Ghost Hunter show.
Yeah.
A friend of a friend's family member. They own like a clothing retail store somewhere. I think it's in like Wilmington or something. But anyways, it's said to be haunted, right? And I've actually gone there, and he showed me the video. That was meant to be for two reasons. Number one, on what he showed me gave me chills, and I knew what he was showing me and what I was dealing with. Two opposites.
Okay.
There was the dark and there was the light.
Okay.
These were black shadows.
Okay.
Oh boy. And anyways, by meeting him, he's a brilliant dude, and I guess he had talked to the directors or something of that show. He's going to do his own show, but anyways, after sharing some of my story from then, you know, he says, "Well, you were just asked what spirit you're communicating with there." Mm. Oh no, you can do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's why, again, you go back now to importance of sharing your story. The blue orbs. A lot of the pictures, especially at the beginning, there's even Eric. You know, Eric. He said many times, you can't get over that looks like a spotlight, basically, of blue light shining down on all the pictures.
Yeah.
He couldn't deny that, right? And anyways, with all that, the meaning of the blue orbs, and interesting enough, the owls, which I want to discuss too.
Yeah.
I went out there and I asked that question, and I asked if whatever being I'm communicating with here, could you leave your name or initials or something for me to, you know who you are?
Yeah.
And you saw the picture I took, and it's like out of sparks, which now that'll be another segment because it's too much time. But the sparks, they can literally use the sparks to make letters.
Yeah.
The angles, the shapes are unbelievable. That's a whole nother story. It can be part of the veil and everything, you know. But so it was 3 letters: A-A-M.
Yep.
Archangel Michael. And that, from that moment on, that's been how he's communicated with me straight up every time. Mikael, he who's like God. I mean, every time. And then the interesting part, we've already discussed it, that whole owl thing, which is, you can go on Facebook, dude, and look at videos from like 10 years ago. Right, the owls are flying in when I'm calling them.
Yeah.
So I was, as a kid, not knowing, you know, this was coming. But 2 things. He's known as a predatory bird or the owl. Mm-hmm. I never knew that shit, right? But he's also, a lot of people, I don't know if the Bible says this, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I know at least other people have said he always has his tongue out. He does. I mean, it's crazy, but it's, you know, I probably have 100 pictures of him with his tongue out.
Yeah.
Blue face, we'll post that too. Blue.
Yeah.
Why do you think the flame's always blue? Because it's God, it's the Holy Spirit, and our friendship.
Absolutely.
That's why I want to post that picture with what I just said.
Yeah.
Because they see this picture, they're gonna know that I ain't sitting out here on fucking acid or shrooms.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an interesting part of the story because it goes to sticks and everything, the rocks.
Yeah.
But a lot of nights I'm getting like synchronicities and stuff out of sticks and rocks and blah blah blah. It's part of the messages for me. But then like, well, this is huge. The story would be Mother Earth basically starting to communicate, and that's the strongest part of the story too. Importance of just Mother Earth protecting her, saving her. I think I've showed some to you, but tell me if I'm wrong. You know, take a picture of the cattails or random flower, and there's a spirit in it that's showing up in the pictures. You know, and
one of the things I was going to ask around is like the animals, right? Spirit guides. As we were talking about the owl, and you know that showing up in your life. Isn't that funny? It's always, man. But just, you know, we hit on like fire ceremony and you've shared this with me and I've seen it, and you're asking a question, right? And you're often getting an answer through fire, right?
Thank you.
You're taking a picture and you're capturing a message that is part of your overall message, right? And then last time we hit on this, and that's like the animals, like the spirit guides, and how, you know, what experiences have you had there with animals showing up? And
People wouldn't believe. That fire blaring, music blaring on a teepee, and an owl would land on my cedar poles, you know, 10 feet above the fire with music blaring, not caring. I got more stories than that, but one night I was out there when I was trying to, before I got those cards, to be a whole other story, important story, but I want to be like the white wolf or something, spirit animal, and so you're the spirit of nature. Okay. Look at the pictures, you know?
Yeah.
So back to that fire, I'm going out to gather wood, and you've seen some of them. I mean, I would go down a path, and 5 minutes later, I come back the same path, and there'll be something laying there that wasn't there before. That's also kind of been like on my mind or energy of the day, which I've noticed. But anyways, the one that I'm talking about now, and you see, that's part of the lesson, and it's going to answer your question too about the pictures and asking questions. But I knew it was happening, and that's how God's working. He can show me. It'll start happening. Synchronicity, until he's like, all right, dumbass, you get it yet? You know, basically the truth.
Yeah.
And finally, after I get it, okay, now let's test it, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Right. And so one of these days was a piece of bark perfectly shaped as a bear mask. I wish I had my necklace that I found in there, but that was the meaning and reason. But anyways, I knew it. Like, here's a piece of bark. It's like just huge piece of bark, you know. And it wasn't there 5 minutes ago. It's shaped just like a bear. And bear shaman, we were talking about it. Taking my kids to Fort Ancient recently, or blah blah blah. So I wanted to take a picture. Bear shaman, whatever. And I'm happy I did. I got my answer, right? And that's one I want to pose. That's the bear, the fire bear. But with that, it's the same thing. So I can ask a question. I freak a little people out. It's just like the owl card, though, dude. It's hey, sorry, but and I can prove this too. And I've done it dozens and dozens of times, which is cool. There's a lot with what you asked me, by the way. Fucking important as hell. So I can ask. I've made a few people really flip shit on this. I'll basically like text myself or email myself a question that I'm going to ask, and put an eagle or put a bear or whatever. Put an eagle on my shoulder as a yes. If it's not a yes, don't put an eagle anywhere in the picture. Kind of question, or whatever. I want bear, horse, you know what I mean. And by the way, I've tested that out as well. No trickster energy.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll with it timed. And then I'll go take that picture, and I won't say anything out loud. That's the other importance, right? Don't say anything. Yeah. Because I'm thinking it. And then you see it. And then I don't even say it. And then what do you see? And then people, that's an eagle on your shoulder. Ah. Yeah. What's the time on there? 2:30? Oh, check out this text message from 2:20. You know?
Yeah. You say don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What does that mean? It's okay to have a thought, but
so this isn't like what's the word? I mean, if you have strong enough discernment, obviously, but kind of for me, it's like, why? Now that I know this, but again, it's kind of like that. Hey, dumbass, did you finally get it right? That's why. So it took me a while, and at the beginning, it was. I think I said that before. Only the light is intelligent. The dark is not, and the dark can manipulate you, right?
Yeah.
If you let it. Usually, that's out of fear, and unknown, and that's where people will try to use and abuse and manipulate shit with you. Like most people think other cultures are evil because they're afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Straight out, you're afraid of the dark.
Hmm.
If it's dark, oh, it has to be evil. Huh? Why are there stars and moon? You know what I mean? So, with that though, it was, you know what? I'm gonna stop asking out loud. That was my energy, right?
Yeah.
Don't give them a chance. Only the one. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, but does the Bible say that?
I don't know, but I will definitely search that and
right?
find out. But it makes sense.
Makes sense, wouldn't it? Only the one true creator power of this would be able to know your mind and your heart.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a kick-ass shirt.
That's better.
But seriously,
yeah.
you know? And so anyways, that was kind of my download on that, and I followed it for a while. But then I kept telling people, don't speak it, right?
Yeah. And you've told me that.
Yeah, and I keep
yeah,
keep telling people until it's finally, get it, dumbass?
Yeah, right.
That's what God says to me, right?
Yeah.
And it was, oh shit. And then it goes back to what I was told at the beginning, you know, it's, again, don't kill the messenger here, but what I've been told, it's like artificial intelligence, technology, and it's not all, you know, bad. It's a double-sided sword. But the realization was only the one can read your mind, right? And the one will only read your mind.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah.
Guard yourself.
Whatever technology's coming, don't.
Yeah.
And that's not me to stop it, you know. That's me to give the message, because I won't stop it. Father will.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else does. Unless the community, you know, the human race, the collective. Because, I mean, yeah, look at my pictures and tell me if you don't see what we're talking here. And then you know that I'm speaking truth here.
Yep.
And that's the truth from the man above.
Bro, your story is amazing to me. And we all, you know, we continue to talk. I just appreciate you sharing it with me. Every time I take away something that is just valuable for my life, or like will show up in the next day or so. And yeah, man, I just appreciate it. I think
you know what,
there was something I wanted to ask you. No, so part of this, my understanding, is, you know, you were in search of truth, and that search led you into the wilderness.
Yep.
And
isolation.
You align with the wilderness, the elements. That is what you now know is like part of your gift.
Oh, yeah.
God's gift for your being. So I imagine it was pretty magnetic that you go there, or that he's calling you there to have this, to start communing, really, right? At the same time, as I imagine it would be for anyone, like there's just so many questions in the beginning, like, what does this mean? What are you showing me? How are you guiding me? And you've had the experience of like getting those answers, and those answers being aligned to your gift, which is elements, right? What are your thoughts about other people that are gifted? Maybe it's not elemental, or maybe it's a different type of gift.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's reading, you know, speaking, music.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of what I feel. I think there's like the spiritual community kind of says something about it that matches like Revelations. I forget, is it Chosen ones on the spiritual side, or is it in the book of Revelations though? It's 144,000.
Yes.
And that's kind of, because you know there's a whole bunch of stuff out there, like light workers, star seeds, and blah blah blah, and they're all very real. Kind of what I've been shown is the star seed origin, and which is an angel. Yeah. This alien angel, whatever you want to call him, is very real. At the same time. Then there's light workers, have a different role. There's more than them. There's millions of them. But yeah, dude, I mean, that's what hopefully more will come forward, right?
Bro, like, yeah, and you started on the path, you didn't have all the answers, right? You didn't have all the answers, but
No.
you were being guided to.
I knew what had
To
happened.
this.
I knew what I experienced. And I'll have witnesses too, dude. Like, all right, so a buddy of mine, guarantee he'll be same guy was in the boat, so he'll again humility, but don't lose sleep from the whispers of sheep no more, right? So, out there during that teachings, it was what you would call like astro projecting now. But what I was told out there and told the whole time until I saw stuff about that was shape shifting. So it was shown to me, and again, it was unknown, but I knew what I was being doing, right?
Yep.
And so, anyways, I did it, man. Now, believe me, if I had the balls to tell the fire story, this one's real wacky, right? So I'll skip most of the details, but all I can tell you, dude, is there's 3 buddies actually, but one of them, part of the story that I'll share is I'm seeing him.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him, and I'm seeing him in his bedroom, in his bed.
Boxers on.
To the point, man, I even had to tell him, I was like, bro, I could only see you. I did.
Yeah.
But before getting too ahead of that, well, what had happened is when I was seeing him, it's kind of like in those clouds again, like, no fucking way this is happening, but I'm looking at him and I'm saying his name repeatedly, and I'm like, if you hear me, I'm trying to communicate, you please say something call me tomorrow, say something, right? And he never does.
Yeah.
So, I think it was like the next day, he had texted me about something, and in that conversation, I ended up, and I told him what I had tried to do, and told him what color sheets or shirt he was wearing, just in real quick of that, and was like, Ron, I'll see you. And he texted me back, wow. That's all he texted back. Is that all right?
Yeah.
The phone. That's all he ever said was wow.
Yeah.
And so, dude, 2 weeks later, he comes over here, and I think I was letting him borrow something, and back in his truck, and I'm probably about 5 feet away from his door. He's getting ready to pull out, and he stops. He kind of leans out. He's like, Bert, kind of starting to freak me out. And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? And he's like, that's what color shirt and sheet I was wearing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? You're just now
Yeah,
telling
didn't say
me,
anything. Right.
So, he'll share that story because it happened. There's other funny stories with it too. There was another guy that was the denier. I won't say his name,
Yeah.
Man, we're walking over there. I forget what he even had to say about it. And I turned right around. I was like, oh, yes, you're going to tell me you weren't sitting in a rocking chair, passed out? And he looked like he saw a ghost. And you know what's also funny is the third person, this is just truth what I'm telling you. When I got to his location, I didn't see a damn thing. Couldn't break that visual.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, it's weird. It's not like a ghost going in and everywhere. It was just like one place, like whoever you're focusing on. But anyways, I had told him that story, buddy of mine, and how I couldn't see in, and without missing a beat, he's like, oh yeah, it's because my wife puts crystals up around all the windows.
Done.
I'm like, holy shit.
Already understood.
Yeah.
Already knew.
Already knew. I'm like,
Already accepted it.
yeah.
Already accepted it.
So.
I imagine there's people that just are on all levels of acceptance.
Oh, yeah.
For a message like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of the message is that,
And that's fine, yeah.
we're living in a world between worlds.
Definitely.
The spirit
Many worlds.
is governing, right, us. There's light and dark. And I think too, and like, you know, one of the things in doing this is like, you're encouraging me, you're encouraging others. You've also said like, there are people out there that have these gifts that haven't expressed them.
Yes.
And have been sitting with them, knowing that it's true.
They've been shamed. They've been shamed. They've been, and you'll learn, you know, it's many reasons, misunderstanding. Most of the time it's that person needs healing.
Yeah.
And so the light is a little blinding to what needs healing on.
Yeah.
And that's all fine and dandy. You know, we've had that discussion. As much as you want to send the bear,
Yeah.
you can't.
No.
You know, and by the way, that's, well, what's the saying? Power is wisdom and remembering your path journey, and wisdom is remembering the steps you've taken in others, and that is what it is, you know. And once you do that, and what we discussed with your, you know,
And where does faith fall in?
right, trust in that. And, you know, it goes to with, I forget, so it goes back to kind of the sparks. And this is a whacked out story without catching up to it, but all the sparks, man, like the crowns on their heads and stuff will be outlined. I mean, I think I've shown you some of them.
Yes.
But they started showing a lot of birds and blah blah blah, but making things out of the sparks impossible. Like, brother, the only way to describe it is, you know, somebody playing a video game, like, and you're able to get on there and change the coding up on the screen, on the background, add, take away. I mean, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because it is him. He is everything, right?
Amen.
It goes back to that, the Godhead I was telling you, and really you should call it the God heart, because I think that's him in the body, you know, the great pulse.
Yes.
That pulsation, that life-giving pulse, where all our soul resides.
Yeah.
Every pulse is life to everything. Right?
Yep. Absolutely. Bro, for somebody that is like, when you share your story, I'm like, bro, you have just so much courage to do this. Like, I'm knowing you and you're giving me more courage.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Appreciate
But initially I was like, I could never do that. Right? I could never. It was too scary for
True.
me. I'm afraid, and I told you that. Like, we sat down for lunch, and I'm like, you know, I was like, why? We were talking about living in spirit, right? Living with your gifts and paying attention to that, and letting God reveal His purpose for you. And I was like, dude, that sounds way too much for me. I don't know if I could do that. Why spend time there, right? And I never forget your response, like, because you were like, to heal yourself and to heal the earth. But somebody that's
Thanks
like,
for remembering.
yeah, man, of course. I mean, somebody like that is hasn't taken the first step or whatever, is just sitting with us. Like, what would you tell them? Like, how to start?
Go outside.
Yeah.
You know,
Good.
you know, that's, for me, that's what it is, and that's what I've been told. And it's back to what you just said lines perfectly up. A story that I just want to tell.
Yeah.
Talk about brave. Talk about the balls. Tell the story. Okay, he said it. I was afraid. That's why I was before fears everything. Dude. Watch Apocalypto, and the dad's. I'm drawing the Apocalypto because the Jaguar's my second totem animal. Yeah. He's the Jaguar guy in that movie. But the father is on one of the scenes, like, won't let him enter the tribe because he saw he was tainted by what he saw in the jungle. It was fear. Don't bring that in here. It will infect everybody else. It's damn true.
Wow.
But anyways, I was going to say something to your other question that led right up. Oh, because I also said the masks thing, the fire bear. So this one's really embarrassing, or it would have been. before, so I'm fearful and everything. This is like embarrassing, humbling, but cool as fuck. Tell me if I'm wrong, okay? But it's just this might be like the number one of them of humility, but has to be shared.
Yeah.
Luckily with the bear, people know I'm, telling the truth here, but it's with all the sticks, that's why it lines up. Before the bear thing, they were telling me I was a warrior, eagle warrior, or past life, forever. And I mean, that's why the rocks and all the eagle head stuff is just everywhere. But then the random vines and sticks on the trail that are just, oh, you gotta be shitting me. You look up a picture of these, and then there's a stick or a vine twisted in an absolute perfect eagle head, fits right over your head. Come on, right? So I wear them. Just like there's my Z signature, looks like a eagle flight. I chose,
Yeah.
So, which goes with the whole owl story again, but another picture I want to share. But, anyways, I was wearing one of those eagle things on my head. It was this summer. It's hot as hell, if you remember. Some of the day were real
We had
hot.
some blazing days.
Especially about fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was also down by a little inlet in the lake, moving stuff, cleaning up rocks and whatnot, and I got my jeans all wet, my shoes all wet. I'm out there by myself. Before the audience knows, there's no neighbors, nowhere in sight. Totally alone, isolated, right? So I take my jeans off. It's just so hot and they were miserably wet. And then did whatever, tied up place and trying to dry them up. And believe it or not, too, it's like crazy. Maybe like a message of if they want to tell me something like more urgently versus me wanting a question. But if they want, like the fire will like get your attention. So anyway, just doing that, and I'm like, it's wanting to, something. So, and this goes back to your question too. You asked me if was it a ceremony or what do I call it?
Yeah. Right.
It's like a friendship.
Yeah.
Right. Me going on the fire and having a friendship, having a relationship. It's not to piss people off or nothing. I know a lot of people know God.
Yeah.
You find God. You have a relationship with Him. How close is the relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I love that, man. Sorry, and this goes with your message. Like ever since I met you, like the simplicity of it and how you're describing the fire as a relationship. And what I find is like I want to put titles and names, everything. Like, tell me about this ceremony, or tell me about this, this path to worship. And you're like, no, bro, it's nature. Like, it's just.
I don't know if I'm gonna jump up and start dancing, right? So anyways, I'm in my underwear, and that happens, and I'm getting ready to take a picture, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm in my underwear. People think I'm crazy enough, this is probably a bad idea, and like, you know what? And this is my thought. Fire's gonna cover up my bottom half,
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That was my thought. Sorry, I knocked the phone down again. With that thought, I take the picture, and I look at the picture, because remember doing it because messages they tell me through the imagery.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm looking at the picture, and dude, I swear to you, I promise you, it was probably 20 minutes of just laughing my ass off, alone in the woods. But because it was, like, we have the same humor.
Yeah.
We have the same humor, dude. There was no denying it. Like, and I laughed my ass off for 20 minutes. I'll show that picture later, and that's the humility. You couldn't see nothing, but why we share the humor. I was thinking, I better not take a picture. I'm in my underwear. I don't want to be exposed. People think I'm a fucking nutcase as it is. And the whole fire is like wide open right between the legs, and there's basically shaped like my arm. You know what I'm saying? Of all fire, looking like I got a fire dick handed down.
A fire dick.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. It's plain as day, you know, when you see it.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm sharing that embarrassing story is same humor.
Yeah, Spirit has humor.
And he read my mind. Again, I did not say anything. I didn't say out there by myself, man, people think I'm crazy enough. I didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
It was a thought that I had.
Yeah.
And then that picture that's the friendship, is the best way I can say.
Absolutely, man. That's encouraging. It can be fun. It can be light, you know. It can be enjoyed. It can be a relationship.
Right.
So many religions like that are out there
This is hard
preaching.
for people.
It's all so serious.
It's so hard for people too, especially obviously you have families and stuff. And to answer your question before, recommending what people should do and going out in nature.
Yeah.
But it's hard, I understand, but going out alone.
Yeah.
Connect you and God. You know, make time for church. You know, church is fine.
Yeah.
Make nature your church a day whenever you can. And if you want to go further than that, which you should, back to Native Americans and the void or the darkness or what the real evil tells you is the darkness, right? Make believe land. You can't go out there. Devil's gonna eat your ass up.
Right. Yep.
No, don't go out there so you don't learn and discover truths that we so-called kings don't want you to know.
Right.
And it goes back to what I said before. There's only one fucking king.
Amen.
So
Good shit, bro.
yeah.
Good shit, man. What are we gonna talk about next?
I don't know.
I can't wait. I already have a million thoughts.
I don't know. Where do you go?